Hello, grade 8 students. Welcome to our electronic module, lesson 2, entitled Factoring Product of a Sum and Difference of Two Squares. So this part, I will give you some examples on how to factor a polynomial given the two squares and finding their product and difference. Okay, so the product of the sum and difference of two terms is equal to the difference of their squares. So for example, the product of the sum and difference of two terms. So we have the given example or the given formula. So you need to remember this formula. If the formula is a plus b times a minus b. So we all know that this expression is given by the two terms, which is a plus b times a minus b. So that is equal to the square of the first term, a squared, minus the square of the second term, which is letter b. So we need to square. So remember that the product of the two terms is equal to the difference of their squares, or a square. There's the square of the two terms is equal to the product of the two terms. So you need to remember this formula, class. Okay, so a plus b times a minus b. So remember this formula, number 1 and number 2. So that's what we call they are equal, which is the product of the sum and difference of two terms is equal to the difference of their squares. Okay, so let's have example number 1. So let's have example number 1. So we need to find the product of the two terms. So one way on getting the product of these given two terms is we need to use the distributive property. So we can simply, okay, we can simply multiply m times m, then that is first term, then second is m times negative n, that is the outer, then for the inner, n times m, then n times negative n. Okay, so first thing that we need to do is we need to use distributive property. Okay, so therefore we use m times m plus m times negative n plus n times m plus n times negative n. Okay, so apply the laws of exponent in multiplying a term. So m times m, that is m squared, then m times negative n, that is negative nm, plus n times m, that is nm, then plus n times negative n, that is negative n squared. Okay, so m squared, so let's find the sign. So we need to multiply. So positive times negative is negative nm. Okay, that is nm. Okay, wait. That is nm. Then plus nm. then minus n squared. So therefore, we need to combine like terms. We need to subtract if they are like terms, or we need to add if they have the same literal coefficient, or shall we say they are again like terms. So therefore, m squared minus nm plus nm minus n squared. So simply we need to cancel out the negative nn plus nm. So therefore, simply copy m squared minus n squared. So we cannot subtract these remaining terms, these two terms, since they are not like terms. So therefore, we can conclude that our final answer is m squared minus n squared. So the product of m plus n times m minus n is equal to m squared minus n squared. So therefore, in the given formula, so as you can say that this is the product, so simply, okay, simply copy the first term. That is another way in getting directly the answer. Copy the first term, the common term is m, then minus, copy the second term, common term is n. So simply we need to square these two terms, put square the two terms. So therefore directly we can say that this is our final answer from the given formula, right? So the given formula, a formula, again as a review, so simply a plus b then times a minus b is equal to a squared minus n squared. Sorry, it is a squared minus b squared. So simply our first term here is m, the common. So simply we need to copy, and then the second term common is n. So therefore we need to simply copy the n. Then from our given formula, so we need to put a square both terms. Therefore, we need to put squared the term m and then squared also in n. So our final answer is m squared minus n squared. Okay, so let's have example number 2. Okay, example number 2. Okay, so let's have example number 2. We need to find the product of 3x plus 5y times 3x minus 5y. So as we all know, we have the given formula, which is, okay, that is a, sorry, that is a plus b times a minus b, which is equal to is, simply copy the first term, which is a, then squared, then minus, copy the second term b, then squared. So simply we can use directly this given formula aside from distributive property, since distributive property is time consuming. So directly we can use the given formula. So simply copy the first term, which is 3x, then minus, copy the second term, which is 5y. So we need to put squared both terms, 3, the numerical and literal coefficient from the given formula. Therefore, 3 times 3, that is 9x squared. Copy the x squared minus 5 times 5 is 25y squared. So that is 3x, put squared both first term, then second term is 5y squared. So that's why we need to distribute the squared both terms in numerical and literal coefficient. So that's why 3, it became 3 squared x squared minus 5 squared y squared. So our final answer is 9x squared minus 25y squared. So no need na to use the distributive property so that we can answer directly the given problem. So let's have checking using distributive property. So we have 3x plus 5y times 3x minus 5y. So we can directly use distributive property in checking if our answer is correct. Okay, so distributive property, so 3x times 3x, that is our first, plus 3x times negative 5y, plus first, so after we multiply the inner, the outer, so simply multiply the inner, which is 5y times 3x, then the outer, plus 5y minus, times negative 5y. Okay, that is the FOIL method. So again, so we subtract this, multiply 3x times 3x. Next is, we subtract, 3x times 3x, then 3x times negative 5y, 5y times 3x, then 5y times negative 5y. So equals 3 times 3, that is 9. X times x is x squared, plus 3 times 5 is negative 15, xy, plus 5 times 3 is 15, xy, plus negative 25 y squared. So, di ba, time consuming if distributive property atong gamiton. So, directly, 9x squared. So, that is negative 15xy plus 15xy minus 25y squared. So, therefore, we need to combine like terms since 9x squared is the only term here in the expression. So, simply copy the 9x squared. But in the negative 15xy, they have the same terms like positive xy. So therefore, we can directly cancel out these two terms. So the remaining term is negative 25y squared. So we can say that our final answer using distributive property is 9x squared minus 25y squared. So therefore, we can conclude that our answer using the given formula is correct. Diba? 9x squared minus 25y squared. So we need to simply copy the first term, then square both terms. So that's it. It is very easy. So we can directly find the answer using the shortcut or the given formula. So let's have example number 3.